Hey anime fans, welcome back to the channel. Did you know that over 80% of anime takes place in Tokyo, yet half of us can't even point to it on a map? Today, we are diving into 10 wild shows that will absolutely break your brain, make you cry like a baby, or question human anatomy entirely. Let's count down the top 10 anime you need to watch right now. Number 10. Durarara. If you think your neighborhood is weird because a guy rides a unicycle while playing the bagpipes, welcome to Ikebukuro. Most anime use Tokyo as a lazy green screen backdrop, but Durarara treats the city like a living, breathing character filled with absolute chaotic energy. Fun fact, this show is basically the anime equivalent of Game of Thrones, minus the dragons, but plus a headless Irish fairy riding a black motorcycle. There are so many overlapping storylines and characters that you practically need a conspiracy board with red string just to keep track of who is stabbing who. One minute you are watching a normal high school kid, and the next, a bartender is literally throwing a vending machine across the street like a frisbee because he is mildly inconvenienced. It is a brilliant, bohemian, and subtly magical world where a surprise is waiting around literally every single corner. Number 9. Guilty Crown. Next up is Guilty Crown, which is widely considered the magnum opus of director Tetsuro Araki, the absolute legend behind Death Note. Now, Araki is the undisputed king of generating hype scenes. The man can make a character eating a potato chip look like an apocalyptic event. But with Guilty Crown, he actually dives deep into the human psyche. The fandom is pretty divided on this one, mostly because the main character, Oma Shu, isn't your typical Giga Chad protagonist who automatically wins every fight. He is a super reluctant hero who is utterly terrified of messing up. Spoiler alert, because he is so afraid of making mistakes, he ends up making all of them. It is a beautiful, tragic train wreck of a psychological journey, supported by a breathtaking soundtrack that will stay stuck in your head for weeks. Number 8. Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy in space. This show was specifically engineered to cater to Western audiences, premiering on Adult Swim in America before it even hit Japanese television. Talk about a reverse Uno card. Because Space Dandy is an episodic series, it definitely has some hits and misses. Every single episode is completely different. One week you're watching a high-stakes sci-fi race, and the next week the entire universe gets turned into zombies. Literally every alien species in the show was designed by a completely different guest artist to ensure the world felt genuinely alien. Here is a sweet Easter egg for you eagle-eyed fans. The show actually uses woolongs as currency, which is the exact same money used in Cowboy Bebop. Coincidence? I think not. While the random formatting might not be for everyone, the insane production values and hilarious world building make it a must-watch. Number 7. Outbreak Company. Before the isekai genre became an absolute tsunami of brain-dead titles about guys getting reincarnated as vending machines or magical hot springs, there was Outbreak Company. Standing at the very, very beginning of the modern trend, this show set the ultimate gold standard for how to make a fantasy world feel fresh without taking itself too seriously. Our main guy is a hardcore otaku who gets kidnapped by the government to do one job: export anime and manga culture to a magical fantasy world. Sounds like a total dream, right? But underneath the cute elf girls and comedic gags, the show actually features some genuinely smart writing. It explores the political tensions between both worlds, the cultural clashes, and even the struggle of learning each other's languages. It is a brilliant parody that manages to have a brain, serving as a masterclass that today's generic light novel adaptations should really copy. Number 6. Kiznaiver. Say hello to Kiznaiver, a major standout project from Studio Trigger. Fun fact, This was originally pitched to be a classic, high-octane battle anime. But director Hiroshi Kobayashi looked at that draft and said, "Nah, let's make it about intense childhood trauma and emotional wounds instead." The plot connects a group of high school students through a system that forces them to literally share each other's physical and emotional pain. Talk about forced empathy. Kobayashi's brilliant direction successfully transitions the show from a typical wacky trigger action series into a deeply thoughtful and heavy drama. Now look, Kiznaiver definitely has its fair share of narrative flaws, but the real carrying force here is the wildly unique and memorable cast of characters. You will come for the beautiful animation and stay for the absolute emotional damage. Number 5. Saranzamai. Alright, brace yourselves, because we are entering the mind of Kunihiko Ikuhara, and the man is completely unhinged. Saranzamai might not be his absolute strongest work compared to revolutionary girl Utena, but it is easily his most bizarre. Ikuhara has a massive running obsession with human connections, heavy symbolism, and very specific fetishes. Every single time this man gets a budget to make an anime, it feels like he is just trying to articulate the weird, eclectic concepts bouncing around his brain. How do I put this lightly? The main characters get turned into mythical kappa creatures, and to defeat demons, they have to extract a magical soul orb called a shirikodama directly from people's buttholes. Yes, you heard that correctly. It is a wild, psychedelic ride that makes absolutely no sense on paper, but somehow works beautifully as a visual masterpiece. Number 4. Last Period. If you love meta-humor and watching a show actively roast the entire anime industry, Last Period is your golden ticket. It functions like a surreal, fast-paced comedy with a brilliant structure where every single action triggers an immediate, hilarious overreaction. It completely skips the boring, trivial setups that other fantasy shows waste time on and gets straight to the point. The first 2/3 of this anime are an absolute comedy goldmine, relentlessly parodying popular mobile gacha games, famous anime tropes, and corporate greed. The ultimate irony? As the series keeps making fun of generic, cliché fantasy shows, it accidentally ends up becoming exactly what it was parodying by the time it reaches the finale. But man, the comedic journey to get there is worth every single second. Number 5. AnoHana, the flower we saw that day. Get your tissues ready, because AnoHana has one primary objective: to force you to shed a river of tears. Seriously, if you watch the finale of this show and don't cry, you are legally an asshole. That is just a scientific fact. The story follows a group of childhood friends who grew apart after the tragic death of their friend Menma, who suddenly returns as a ghost that only the main guy, Jintan, can see. The show does an absolutely masterful job of setting up these broken, guilt-ridden characters and their shattered relationships. Fun fact, the iconic ending theme song, Secret Base, was actually sung by the voice actresses of the main female cast, making the emotional gut punch hit 10 times harder whenever it starts playing at the end of an episode. To this very day, just hearing the first 3 notes of that song will instantly trigger the waterworks for veteran anime fans. Number 2. Etotama. Who on earth could have ever predicted that an anime based on the Chinese zodiac signs would be this much pure fun? Etotama is an absolute hidden gem that defines the phrase oddly charming. The plot centers around a cat spirit who desperately wants to become an official member of the zodiac circle. What makes this show stand out so much is how seamlessly it balances its 2 distinct worlds. The slice-of-life comedy sections are drawn in gorgeous traditional 2D animation, while the high-energy battle sequences shift into a spectacular chibi 3D style. Usually, blending 2D and 3D looks like a complete eyesore, but Etotama pulls it off so flawlessly that you never second-guess what the show is trying to sell you. It is pure, unadulterated entertainment. Number 1. The Pet Girl of Sakurazou. And taking our number 1 spot is the Pet Girl of Sakurazou. While most high school anime feed you fake Hallmark card sympathy lines like, just dust yourself off and try again, this show takes a completely different route. It looks you dead in the eye and tells you exactly how much it sucks to fail in life. It is an incredibly endearing story about an eccentric group of misfits living together in a notorious school dorm. You have brilliant geniuses living right next to ordinary people who are working themselves to the bone just to get noticed, capturing the raw, painful reality of imposter syndrome perfectly. The characters support each other in their own broken, messy ways, creating an emotional anchor that makes this show a masterpiece. And that is our list. If you enjoyed this video, do me a massive favor and smash that like button, destroy the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another countdown. I'm out for now. See you in the next one.